Hello everyone, welcome you all to this new video. So till now we have completed first module of EPC and we have discussed around 10 to 12 videos in that first module because that was a very big module and the basics of whatever the electronic principles and some of the basic amplifier circuits and some other kinds of circuits with respect to the transistors we have seen in that first module, right? So this is the starting of the second module. Okay, so this is the syllabus for the second module, what and all we are going to be covering in this module. We are mainly focusing on the MOSFETs. Okay, so this word is not new to you guys. You have already heard it in your PUCs and in the first year basic electronics as well. MOSFET stands for metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. Okay, so this is the full form of MOSFET, and in detail we are going to be discussing some of the MOSFET circuits and how the MOSFET circuits are formed, its symbol, whatever are the terminals present, and based on that terminals some different amplifier circuits, everything we are going to be seeing in this module. Okay, so these are all the contents present in the syllabus. You see here under MOSFETs you should be discussing about MOSFET biasing with respect to MOS amplifier circuits. Okay, that is metal oxide semiconductor amplifier circuits. One is we should be checking the problem of fixing VGS, fixing VG, drain to get feedback resistor, and many more. Okay, then after that we are going to be checking with the small signal operation and modeling of MOSFET, as we have discussed for BJTs and FETs in the previous module, bipolar junction transistor and field effect transistors in the in the previous module, that is with respect to small signal operation, how the amplification is done, everything we have discussed. Now with respect to MOSFET also we are going to be seeing the parameters such as DC bias point, signal current in drain, voltage gain, small signal equivalent circuit, how to be representing the equivalent circuits with respect to the MOSFETs, then the term transconductance, then the T equivalent circuit model with respect to the MOSFETs. Okay. So then after that, we are going to be discussing with the MOSFET amplifier configuration. That is whatever the MOS amplifier circuits we will be discussing in this part here. With respect to that, you should be doing some basic configurations of that. That is characterizing in the amplifiers. Then we are having one kind of amplifier, that is CS amplifier, that is called as common source amplifier with source and without source resistance. Then we are having common gate amplifier, and one more amplifier which is not mentioned here, that is common drain amplifier, that also is mentioned is there in your syllabus, and that is also called as source follower. Okay, common drain amplifier circuit is also called as source follower. So these are some of the configurations under MOSFET amplifier circuits with respect to the MOSFET terminals, that is CS amplifier, CG amplifier, and source follower or CD amplifier. So these are the topics which we are going to be discussing in this module. Okay, one by one. So without wasting much time, let's get started with the today's video. Today we are going to be discussing about biasing in MOS amplifier circuits. Okay, so with respect to the MOSFETs, some basics which I have skipped it. That is the basic symbol of MOSFET. So those things that's already new, not new to you guys. You have already studied it in your lower classes. That is MOSFET consists of three terminals: drain, gate, and source. Okay, gate is the middle terminal, and one more terminal is there with respect to the MOSFET body, which separates the currents. That is also called as body terminal. So that you are going to be discussing in the later stage. Mainly, we are focusing on three terminals under MOSFET, that is drain, gate, and source. So with respect to that, how biasing is done, let us see now. An essential step in the design of MOSFET amplifier circuit is the establishment of an appropriate DC operating point for the transistor. So this is the step known as biasing or bias design. An appropriate DC operating point or bias point is characterized by a stable and predictable DC drain current ID by a AC drain to source voltage VDS. So in order to calculate the bias point, the two parameters which are mentioned here, which they have highlighted, is one is the drain current, that is the DC source drain current ID, and the DC drain to source voltage VDS. So whatever the graph we are drawing, that is ID versus VDS, drain current and drain to voltage source, in order to get the DC operating point or the bias point under biasing. Okay, so these things we should be requiring. So how the biasing is done with respect to that, how bias point is calculated, these are the two terms which are necessary for that. One is drain current, DC drain current, and DC drain to source voltage. Okay, you should be keeping this in mind. Now let us see biasing by fixing the VGS. So how that can be fixed? The most straightforward approach to biasing a MOSFET is to fix its gate to source voltage VGS. Okay, so the biasing part is done by this pattern here, that is whatever the VGS, drain to source voltage, drain to gate voltage, gate to source voltage, whatever we get VGS, that value should be straightforward. In order to that, we should be fixing in such a way that we should be getting the desired drain current. Okay, so that's why the most straightforward approach is for biasing a MOSFET is to fix its gate to source voltage VGS to the value required to provide the desired drain current ID. This voltage value can be derived from the power supply voltage VDD through the use of an appropriate voltage divider. Alternatively, it can be derived from another suitable reference voltage that might be available in the system. So this is not a good approach to bias a MOSFET. Why this is not a good approach? Because we are only focusing on only one parameter, that is VGS. Okay, that is with respect to only one single terminal in the MOSFET, right? Because MOSFET consists of four terminals in total: gate, drain, source, and body. But this VGS is only considered with respect to the gate terminal. So other terminals are not coming into the picture. So that's why this won't be a suitable approach for biasing a MOSFET. So to understand the reason for this statement, recall that ID is given by this equation. Okay, this equation you need to be remembering, that is id is equal to half into mu n cox w by l. Okay, that is the width and length of the transistor into vgs minus vt the whole square. Okay, so here some other parameters which come into the picture, that is vt, that is called as the threshold voltage. Cox is called as the oxide capacitance. Okay, that is very essential. And mu n is the quality factor which is responsible for the biasing or the uh, biasing which takes place in the transistor. Okay, so this equation is very essential. Note it down. And these are some explanations for these, which and all what terms are what. That is here, oxide capacitance is cox, this vt is the threshold voltage, and that is the aspect ratio. That this equation is defined here. Okay, so this is not required. And this was the plot which I'm talking about with respect to AC. Okay, so this is the AC plot where we get the different operating points. Okay, with respect to different devices for a simple biasing. Okay, so this plot also you note it down. Now you see here, biasing by fixing VG and connecting a resistance in the source. So how the biasing is done? By fixing the parameter VG. So we have seen with respect to VDS, right? Now you should be checking with respect to VG how the biasing is done. Okay, so mainly here, if you want to fix VG, we require one resistance in a source such that you will be getting a balanced equation with respect to the drain current ID, because we know that for the current for the current drain current or whatever current, we require two parameters in picture in order to flow, for the current to flow in the circuit in any device. That is, one is voltage and another one is resistance. So that's why if we are using VG, we should be connecting a resistance along with that VG in the source. Okay, so an excellent biasing technique for discrete MOSFET circuit consists of fixing the DC voltage at the gate, that is DC voltage, what which we are fixing, that is the VG voltage, gate voltage, and connecting a resistance in the source lead as shown in the figure. Okay, so this is that figure here. The resistance is kept here, that is rs, with respect to the this is the body terminal, drain, gate, and source terminal, and this is the vgs area, and this is the vg voltage with respect to this rl, parallelly how it is getting flowing, okay, from this body term. And this is the id current which flows through this MOSFET. And with respect to that, there would be different parts of current which are getting formed through different devices. And with respect to operating points here and the two vgs voltages, we get one slope. Okay, that slope is -1 divided by rs, and that rs is constant. Okay, it won't be having any fixed it won't be having any fixed value. It would be varying with respect to the changes in the current and voltage. Okay, so with respect to this, AC plot of biasing is concluded like this here. So this plot you need to be noting it down. Okay, so here some terms are mentioned here for with respect to VG. Let us see that. Connecting a resistance as shown in the figure. For this circuit, whatever I've shown right now, we can write this equation, that is VG is equal to VGS plus RS into ID. Okay, you see here this VG parameter is the sum of VGS into RS into ID, because we know that this is the uh, I into R is equal to V, right? So that's why whatever the voltage flowing here is RS into ID and VGS. Okay, so these two are getting added up in series, and totally we would be getting the VG voltage in this case. Okay, so here the resistance RS provides the negative feedback. Okay, so it helps the work of providing the negative feedback, which acts to stabilize the value of the bias current. Okay, so the RS would be providing the negative feedback because of that bias current ID would be getting stabilized. Why? Because we are using the unknown voltage with respect to VGS. Okay, so that cannot be predicted how much value is required. So that's why if there is some excess amount of voltage, so that RS resistor, what it does is it takes the work of acting as a negative feedback resistance in such a way that the we would be getting the balanced bias current with respect to the drain current ID. Okay, so to see how this comes out, we should be considering what happens when ID increases for whatever reason. Okay, so when ID increases, the negative feedback action of RS gives the name the degeneration resistance. So that is only when the current drain current would be increasing. Okay, so whenever we are having the increased drain current, okay, so in order to provide the negative feedback, that resistance is also called as the degeneration resistance. Okay, so which we have seen in this plot here with respect to that how the resistances are getting decreased in the order with respect to devices, and the slope is also getting negated here, that is minus 1 divided by RS. Okay, so for these three separate circuits, it is shown how the plot would be varying with respect to these circuits here. Okay, so yeah, now let us see with biasing using drain to gate feedback resistor. Okay, how this biasing is done with respect to drain to gate feedback resistor. Let us see that now. A simple and effective discrete circuit biasing arrangement utilizing a feedback resistor connected between drain and gate is shown in the figure. Okay, so this is that figure. With respect to drain and gate terminals, the simple effective discrete circuit is shown. Okay, so these are the drain and gate terminals here. So this is the drain and source terminals, and this is a gate terminal which is mentioned here. With respect to that, we have connected two resistances with respect to those terminals. One is RD, that is the drain resistance, and RG, that is the gate resistance. Okay, so with respect to this, the current is also flowing here, that is ID, the drain current, and these are the two areas. The one is VGS area and another one is VDS area. Both are approaching towards ground here. Okay, so now you see here, the large feedback resistance Rg forces the DC voltage at the gate to be equal to that of the drain, because Ig is equal to 0, right? Because in the gate, whatever the current is there, that would be always equal to 0. Therefore, we could be writing this equation here, that is VGS is equal to VDS is equal to VDD minus RD into ID. Okay, so for these three terminals, in order to equate it, we would be getting this equation. This also can be written in the form of VDD is equal to VGS plus RD into ID. Okay, VGS or VDS, it's one and the same. So we would be getting one equation for with respect to the VDD supply here, whatever is mentioned here. For that VDD supply, you would be getting one equation, that is VGS plus RD into ID in this drain to gate feedback resistor part. Okay, whenever we have RG and RD, drain to gate feedback resistor, what would be the VDD equation? That would be equal to VDD is equal to VGS plus RD into ID, which is identical in the form which describes the operation of the bias scheme. So with respect to that figure, so here too, if ID for some reason changes, or say if it increases, it indicates that VGS also must decrease, because ID and VGS are inversely proportional to each other. Because ID divided by VGS, we would be getting some resistance. Okay, that it would be RD or RG. So that's why if we see the drastic change in the ID current, its opposite phase change we would be seeing in the VGS also. That is, if ID increases, VGS would be decreasing. If ID decreases, VGS would be increasing. Okay, so here also they have mentioned the same thing. The decrease in VGS in turn causes the decrease in ID, in turn causes the increase in ID. So this is a mistake. Okay, this should be increase, a change that is opposite in direction to the one originally assumed. Thus, the negative feedback or degeneration provided by RG works to keep the value of ID as constant as possible. Okay, so that's why the degeneration resistance which we have discussed previously, right, that would be helping in this case, because these two are inversely proportional and we would be getting a large variance in the values, right? So that's why in order to stable the circuit with respect to the drain current, we use this degeneration resistance, that is the gate resistance. Okay, so that is used in case if we are having the large variation, but in this case there is no large variation, so that is optional. So if you want to use RG, you should be checking for the biasing part first. If it is completely biased, then this gate resistance is not required, and if it is not biased, then you should be attaching the gate resistance in such a way that we would be getting this equation, that is VDD is equal to VGS plus RD into ID. Okay, so hope this is clear. Note it down. And that's all for this video, guys. We have started with the biasing of MOSFETs, and we have seen with respect to different parameters how the MOSFETs are biased. What do you mean by MOSFETs? How many terminals it consists of? Everything we have seen in this video. So let us see you in the next video with some other concepts of module 2. Okay, stay tuned. Thank you.